Hello and welcome to my new video. In my last video, I explained the UI actions, which includes overview, UI action control, UI action form, restricting UI actions, and override for extended tables. In this video, I will explain the business rules, which includes the overview, how business rule works, business rule form, global variables, and technical best practices. So let's start with the overview. In ServiceNow, business rules are powerful tool used to automate, process, and enforce business logic. They are primarily used to define actions that should cover when certain conditions are met. A business rule is server-side script that execute when specific conditions are met, such as when a record is displayed, inserted, updated, or deleted, or when a table is queried. These scripts define actions to be taken based on the predefined conditions which determine when the rule should run in relation to database operations and which record operation it applies to. ServiceNow provides tools for debugging and logging business rules to troubleshoot issues. Admin can use the script debugger or logs module to monitor the execution of business rules and identify any errors or unexpected behavior. In ServiceNow scoped applications, business rules are scoped to the application they are defined in. This helps in encapsulating business logic and preventing conflicts between different applications. Business rules play a critical role in automating processes and enforcing business logic within the ServiceNow platform, contributing to improved efficiency and consistency to workflow management. Then, how business rule works. To configure a business rule, you first need to determine when the business rule should run and what action it take. When business rules run based on two sets of criteria: when to run the business rule in relation to a database operation, when record operation the business rule applies to. The following options are provided to determine when the business rule should run: before, after, async, and display. Before, after the user submits the form, but before any action is taken on the record in the database. For this, user select before, and after the user submits the form and after any action is taken on the record in database. Then async, after the user submits the form and after the scheduler runs on the schedule job created from the business rule. The system creates a schedule job from the business rule after the user submits the form but before any action is taken on the record in the database. Then display, before the form is presented to the user, just after the data is read from the database. Then you can say that uh, you can apply different record operation like insert, update, query, and delete. Like insert, when the user creates a new record and the system inserts it into the database. And if we select the update checkbox, when the user modifies any existing record, or query, when the user sends a query for the record or list of records to the database. Typically you should use query operation for before business rule, and delete when the user deletes the record. So in this way you can say that business rule works. Then business rule form. So let's you can say that explore the business rule form on my personal developer instance. So for example, business rules, the system definition. These are, you can say that, different business rules. If we click on the new button, then the first field is name, in which we enter the name of the business rule. Then the second is table, in which we select the tables the business rule runs on. Then the application that contains this business rule. then you can say that active select we can select this checkbox to enable the business rule. Then advanced, we select the checkbox to see the advanced version of the form. Example, if we click on this, then it shows the when, order, and you can say that different options. If in when to run, it only showing the condition builder in which we can select the any condition on which the you can say that business rule trigger and the insert and update checkbox. And in action we define that what action the business rule perform without the scripting. But if we want to use the script, then we click on the advanced option, and then in when we select the before, after, async, or display. Then also you select the insert insertion. You can say that when user insert any record or update or delete or query, and also the condition builder. Then you can say that order, in which we enter a number indicating the sequence in which the business rule should run. Then you can say that filter condition, that use the condition builder to determine when the business rule should run based on the field values in the selected tables. Then role condition selects the roles that user who are modifying records in the table must have for this business rule to run. Then in action, uh, there are, you can say that options like set field values, set values for the fields in the selected table using the choice list, the field, the assignment operator, and different, you can say that values. Then add message, select if we select this checkbox and enter the message that appears when the business rule run, like uh, any message you write here, it displays when the business rule runs. Then about action, we can select this checkbox to about the current database transaction. Then in advance, there are you can see that two options like condition and script. In condition, we create a JavaScript conditional statement to specify when the business rule should run by adding the condition statement to this field. You tell the system to evaluate the condition separately and run the business rule only if the condition is true. Then script, uh, we can create the script that runs when the defined condition is true, on, after, async, on, before, on, display. So this is, you can say that form of the business rule. Then global variables. Global variables are predefined variables which are available for use in the business rules. There are different, you can say that global variable like current, previous, g underscore scratchpad, and gs. Current state of the record being referenced. See prevent null pointer expectation exceptions below to check. You can say that for nulls before using this variable. Then previous state of the referenced record prior to any update made during the execution context, where the execution context begins within the first update or delete operation and ends after the script and any referenced business rule are executed. Then g underscore scratchpad object is available on the display rules and is used to pass information to the client to be accessed from the client script. Then js reference to the glide system functions. The variable current, previous, and g underscore scratchpad are global across all business rules that run for transaction. Then technical business best practices for the business rule. Like there are different best practices, like know when the business rule, when to run business rules, use conditions, keep code in functions, prevent recursive business rules, double check critical input, use script include instead of global business rules. So know when the business rule, when to run the business rule. The when field on the business rule form indicates whether the business rule script runs before or after the current object is saved to the database. The most commonly used business rules are before and after rules. You can use an async business rule in the place of, you can say that after business rule. Async business rules are similar to the after rules in that they run after the database commits are changed. Unlike after rules, async rules run in the background simultaneously with other processes. Async business rules allow ServiceNow to return control to the user sooner but may take longer to update related objects. Then use conditions. Since business rules are evaluated whenever an insert, update, delete, or query action is made to a record, it is important to ensure you are using conditions. Conditions are evaluated before the rule is executed. If the condition is met, the script is evaluated and executed. If there is no condition, the system assumes that the business rule should evaluated and executed for every action to be record on the specified tables of the business rule. It is easier to debug business rule when you can see which made a particular condition and what and which do not. Then keep code in functions. By default, an advanced business rule will wrap your code in function, and it is important that the guideline is followed. When code is not enclosed in the function, variables and other objects are available to all other server-side script. This availability can lead to unexpected consequences that are difficult to troubleshoot. Then prevent recursive business rules. Don't use current.update in the business rule script. The update method triggers business rules to run on the same table for insert and update operations, potentially leading to a business rule calling itself hour and hour. Changes made in business rules are automatically saved when all before business rules are completed and after business rules are best used for updating related not current objects. Then double check critical input. If you use a client script to validate data or a reference qualifier to present a filtered list, data may change between the time the user fills in the fields and the time the user submits the form. This mismatch can cause a conflict or error. Business rule or an effective way to, you can say that, double check critical input. Then use script includes, you can say that, instead of global business rules. A global business rule is any business rule where the selected table is global. Any other script can call global business rule. Global business rule have no condition or table restriction and load on every page in the system. Most functions defined the global business rule are fairly specific, such as advanced reference qualifier uh, on one field on the form. There is no benefit to loading this kind of script on every page. Script includes only load when called. If you have already written a global business rule, move the function definition to the script include. The name of the script include must match the name of the function for the script include to work properly. There is no need to modify any calls to named function. So these are some of the technical best practices. So let's create one simple business rule for better understanding. For this, let me open my personal developer instance. So for example, I have a custom table. So this is the table, and I want that when I select any user, it automatically picks the email of the user, phone and location of that user if available. So for this, simply write the business rule, configure business rules, then create new, so it automatically picks the table because uh, I'm configuring the business rule for this table. Then for example, get user info, then active and advanced because we want to use the script. Now we use the before and insert and update. We're not using any condition, and can add the message like user info updated. Then in script write the script like first variable user is equal to new glide tracker, and name of the user table sys underscore user, then user dot add query sys id, then current dot u underscore name. This is the field of, you can say that, table. Then use dot query to use the if user dot next current dot u underscore email is equal to user dot email, then current dot u underscore phone is equal to user dot mobile phone, then current dot u underscore location is equal to user dot and now we save this code. save this business rule. So now we open this table again. So when I select any user, like I select this and save, then you see that it picks the email of this user, phone number and location, and also showing the message user info updated. So in this way you can configure or create different business rules. So before I wrap up, let's quickly review that what I have covered in this session. So I explained the overview, how business rule works, business rule form, global variables and technical best practices. That's all for this session. In my next video I will cover the data policy. Thank you.